It happens every summer. You plant coriander, wait a few days, and watch the seedlings stretch upward, wilt, and sprout small flowers while the lush lower leaves drop off. Most people blame the sun and give up, but the heat itself isn't the direct cause of death. Coriander is naturally a cool season herb. When ambient temperatures rise above 30 degrees Celsius, the plant senses danger and shifts into biological survival mode. Look at this temperature gauge. As the heat crosses that 30-degree threshold, the plant diverts all its energy away from lateral leaf expansion and forces it straight up the stem. It abandons leaf production entirely to urgently create seeds before the heat kills it. This panic response is called bolting. Once that physiological switch flips, the plant's chemistry changes permanently. Leaf production halts, the remaining tender greens turn tough, and the flavor becomes strongly bitter. Summer failure usually comes down to a clash between the gardener's timing and the plant's biological programming. To get a harvest, we have to bypass that programming. Managing summer heat stress starts at the root level. Often the choice of container is the silent killer. This diagram shows exactly why container depth matters. On the left, an 8 to 10 inch deep pot allows the coriander's central taproot to extend fully. On the right, in a shallow pot, that taproot quickly hits the bottom and coils. That restriction sends stress signals upward, triggering the bolting response we want to avoid. That root stress is immediately multiplied if you use heavy, compacted soil, which traps heat and physically chokes the root system. To keep roots cool, you need a well-aerated matrix. Blend equal parts garden soil, rich compost, and a light aerator like sand or cocoa peat. Mixing these creates a loose foundation that drains quickly. Drainage is critical because coriander roots are highly sensitive. They will die equally fast from being completely dry or entirely drowned in waterlogged soil. By combining an 8-inch depth with perfectly draining soil, you physically prevent the initial underground stress that triggers the plant's summer panic mode. The seeds themselves require mechanical preparation. The round brown sphere you buy is actually a hard fruit, and it contains 2 distinct seeds trapped inside. If planted whole, germination in hot weather is slow and inconsistent. To fix this, take a rolling pin and gently roll over the seeds to crack the outer husks. The goal is to separate them into intact halves without crushing the delicate interior. Take those split halves and soak them in water for 6 to 8 hours. This softens the hard outer shell and accelerates the sprouting process. When it is time to plant, strict timing applies. Only sow these hydrated seeds in the early morning or late afternoon. Placing them into baking midday soil will kill them before they sprout. This minor mechanical preparation effectively bypasses the highest mortality phase of summer germination, giving your crop a vital head start. Once the seedlings emerge, you have to control their immediate environment. In the middle of summer, sunlight is a destructive stressor that must be rationed. Position your containers so the plants receive exactly 4 to 5 hours of gentle morning sun. After that, they must sit in partial shade during the peak afternoon heat. A light shade net works perfectly if the pots cannot be moved. Heat also changes how soil handles water. Summer temperatures dry out the top layer quickly, leading many gardeners to panic and flood the container with excessive water, which eventually causes fatal root rot. Check the topsoil with your finger. If it feels slightly dry, water gently at the base of the plant during the morning hours. This prepares the root system to handle the heat of the day. Never water late in the evening, over the leaves. Moisture trapped overnight in humid, warm conditions is an immediate invitation for fungal diseases to wipe out the crop. Rationing the sun and carefully managing moisture keeps the plant's ambient temperature permanently below its 30-degree panic threshold. As the plants grow taller, a new invisible danger emerges: overcrowding. Seedlings fighting for light and water severely amplify their own heat stress. You must ruthlessly thin out overlapping seedlings. Removing healthy sprouts feels counterproductive, but it maintains the critical airflow and nutrient distribution the remaining plants need to survive. Even with perfect conditions, summer coriander grows fast and finishes fast. The mathematical defense against this short life cycle is a technique called succession planting. Look at this timeline. Instead of planting your entire seed supply on day 1, sow a small batch of split seeds every 10 to 15 days. By the time the first pod is ready for harvest, the second is mid-growth, and the third is just sprouting. To sustain this loop, avoid high nitrogen fertilizers. They force rapid leafy growth, but in extreme heat, that forced expansion severely weakens the plant. Rely on a balanced organic compost instead. Shifting from a single large harvest to an overlapping loop guarantees a constant supply of fresh leaves, no matter how quickly the individual plants mature. When it is finally time to harvest, do not pull the plant up by the roots. Take small pruning shears and meticulously snip only the large, mature outer stalks, leaving the tight central cluster of smaller leaves entirely untouched. This specific physical technique forces the plant to continuously redirect its energy inward. Constantly pruning those outer leaves artificially delays the bolting response. Eventually, the summer heat will win and the plant will flower. Let it happen. Those flowers attract highly beneficial insects to your garden, and they will eventually generate seeds for your next cycle. Deep soil, cracked seeds, gentle sun, consistent moisture. That is the entire system. Working with the plant's biology instead of ignoring it turns past frustrations into a consistent, fragrant harvest.